Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. How are we all doing on this Wednesday morning? This is Reganelite here. Good to see you guys. Hope you are all doing well. Hope you enjoyed the Two Davies show. If you've come from the Two Davies show, if not, hope you guys have a nice morning. Person impersonator, Russell Cannon, Peter M, and anybody else looking in the chats and the YouTube chat. Good to see you there. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to Good Morning with Reganelite here on the 24th of September. And for an hour, we're going to look at today's daily quota. We're going to look at the weather, and we're going to be looking at world news specifically, guys, outside the UK. So we'll look at UK news tomorrow in detail. Definitely some. I'm really looking forward to doing tonight's live stream as well, the watch along, because I do want to cover a little bit of some of the things that Ed Davey has been saying. He's been on, I listened to a little bit of his speech. If I get time today, I'll try and listen to more of his speech from the conference because it was very, very good as well. Stephen Banker, Ellie, Unquiet Badger, and Mutty Von Eric, good to see you all there. Hope you are all doing well. So let's get started because we only have an hour to make the most of everything. So here is today's daily quota here. If you guys can see it. Hopefully you guys can see it. Can you read it? From Holland there. This is today's one here. Holland Roden. I think I've said that right. So here is today's daily quota for you guys. Have confidence in who you are and don't be afraid to go for what you really want in life. Have confidence in who you are and don't be afraid to go for what you really want in life. Very nice one there from Holland. Very nice one there. That's a very interesting one for tomorrow as well. Looking forward to covering that one tomorrow as well. So we'll definitely be interesting to say the least. There we go. Just place that there. And anybody else, if I haven't said hello, let's go straight to the weather. And let's see what's happening in the weather today, guys. So today is Wednesday. The time I'm setting this on is, let me just put the wind thermometers on as well. I'm using the BBC weather website just for reference in case people are wondering what this is. This is 7 o'clock in the evening right now. You can see the whole of Europe here, the temperatures and the winds in Europe there. We can see, I scrolled back a little bit. This is what most of the temperatures are like later on in the afternoon, into the late afternoon, into the evening there, just for reference there, some of the temperatures. But I'll just leave it on 7 o'clock for today. We can see here some parts. Obviously, Madrid is under 20 degrees. Shocking news. Excuse me. That's breaking news there. Prague 13, Zagreb 15, Bern 11, Paris 10, London 15, Berlin 13, Rome 20, Lisbon 25, Oslo 9 there, Reykjavik up there in Iceland at 10, but it is the UK specifically what temperatures we want to see here. So just looking there, you can see London 15, Cardiff 14, Manchester 14, Dublin 14, Belfast 13, Edinburgh 13 today. There wasn't much. There was no. I put the towels out to get them dry today. And they did not get wet the next morning when I came down. So the next morning, which is pretty good. But you can see here temperatures and winds. Winds here mainly cloudy. Probably not going to need you won't need a raincoat or your brolly, guys. So you can ditch them for this week. I think I did say up till Saturday. I think is when more rain will forecast over the whole of the UK and parts of the UK anyway. So most of us will be pretty fine. It's just a case of the temperatures. If you can feel the temperatures, and some parts of the UK you're going to feel it to be fair anyway with some of these numbers that we can see in front of us here. Obviously my friends in Scotland, 13 degrees in some parts there, you can see there, even as low as 10 degrees in other parts there. So will be a little bit chilly. Probably you'll need a jumper is probably the best thing I can recommend there, guys. If we go to Thursday, and I'll set it to 1 o'clock again. Tomorrow, this is the weather for tomorrow. Just going from overnight into the next day, guys. You can see no rain again forecast in throughout the whole of the UK tomorrow. Again, there might be some out in the ocean, but it's not really going to come and hit us again. But just having a look here, you'll get a bit of wind here and there, but nothing too serious. Again, cloudy days, guys. Cloudy days. Then low temperatures, 16, 17, nothing that we cannot handle here, but no big rain for storms or anything. So it's nice and calm week here. You can see by the temperatures here, 15, 16 for tomorrow. Not too bad here. So they'll be pretty all right for us here. Up in the north of England again, temperatures, nothing that we cannot handle. Again, might be a bit chilly for some people again. So for tomorrow, so you probably might need a jumper. And again, for our friends up in Scotland, you can see there temperatures are not too bad as well there. So again, not a bad day so far for tomorrow as well. If we go into Friday, and we can see here into Friday, again, nothing really coming. I mean, there's a big rainstorm out in the ocean, but again, it's not going to be coming at all on Friday. So again, it's just a case of the wind and the temperature. Again, might be get a bit of high winds in certain parts of the UK, but nothing really to worry about, really, guys, for Friday as well. So if you really wanted to, you can hang your washing out, is what I can say. You can definitely get away with that. Indie Duck Melly, good to see you there. I hope you're doing well, and anybody else I've said hello to as well. But yeah, temperatures 15, 16 degrees, and high, some winds as high as 15, 14 to 16 respectfully there. And just a quick look on Saturday before we switch to the news. Here you can see the rain forecast overnight and Saturday morning. You're going to be getting that in Scotland and Wales there. As you can see here in Saturday afternoon, yeah, so on Saturday, guys, you are going to get rain up in Scotland there. So you can see pretty much it's going to come from overnight, yeah, so early Saturday morning, pretty much. Well, you could get it as much as pretty much all days what you're going to be getting. So you're probably going to get high winds as well from this rain forecast, from this storm. So do take precautions for Saturday. For my friends up in Scotland, please be careful there, because that's it's going to be quite a storm there. But also little parts of England are going to feel it as well. Parts of the north of England are going to feel it in some parts there as well. But most other parts will be won't be so affected. But again, parts of Wales may also get affected this as well. Let me just see if it scrolls in. Yeah, some of Wales may get that as well, possibly as well. So just be aware of that. But that's not till Saturday, so you still got a couple of days, obviously. But we'll keep an eye on it closer to the time. Like I said, it sometimes fluctuates, so they sometimes change it a little bit from what is forecasting now. Like they sometimes tweak it a little bit depending on as they get closer to the day. So it's not always 100% accurate, but it's about the close accuracy that we can get when it comes to the weather, guys. So let's start with Al Jazeera here. What is happening in the news? So here we are. More than 50 people have been killed in Gaza. Israel surges on the main city. The attacks are still continuing. Nothing has changed whatsoever in the Middle East here. Once again, we have children and innocent people dying and starving as a direct result of actions by the IDF and the Israeli government. Israel attacks 2 in Gaza City in Bergen Camp. Colombia's Pedro blasts genocidal Israel and allies at the UN Convention. World leaders focus on Gaza at the UN General Assembly. Crucial power generators in Gaza hospitals again running out of fuel. Israeli military claims to seize a rocket in Tudrum. And coalition of 25 European nations, Canada presses Israel on Gaza's medical corridor. This is the big problem, of course, that they're still not opening the doors, unfortunately, for those inside the Gaza Strip. And of course, our thoughts and prayers with all Palestinian people as well. As for those who came over, obviously, from the 2 Davies show, we would have heard, obviously, was mentioned, obviously, the flotilla. And it's going to be very interesting in the next few days to see what happens as they approach Gaza, as they approach the sea there, and how Israel responds to the fleet, because it is a quite massive fleet now at this point. Not just the flotilla, but all the other boats. So I will be keeping an eye very closely on it as much as I possibly can, guys. Erdogan says Trump meeting with Arab Muslim leaders on Gaza was fruitful. So yeah, I mentioned this yesterday. So Trump presents plan on ending war of margins on the UNGA dominated by Gaza. Build countries attending meetings by the group that could do it. So it's it's interesting that they had this meeting. So Erdogan said he's pleased with the results of a fruitful meeting between the US President Donald Trump and Arab and Muslim leaders on ending Israel's war in Gaza. The positive sentiment was echoed by Trump, who said on Tuesday's meeting with all of the big players except Israel on the sidelines of the 80th Annual United Nations General Assembly in New York had been successful. As Israel continued relentless bombing of Gaza City, killing dozens of Palestinians daily and forcibly displaced tens of thousands of unknown fact. The fact that that the Turkish leader is saying it's been fruitful, that's a positive sign. I don't think it's a case that Donald Trump has dismissed the concerns that Arab and Muslim leaders are saying, but whether or not he does, I think he's going to take what they say on board. But is he actually going to put it into any action against Israel? No. That's the way I see it. No details, however, have yet been published on the meeting, attended by leaders of Egypt, Indonesia, Jordan, Pakistan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and the UAE, and were billed by Trump as the group that can do it. And by the way, just for reference, I have re-put up the live stream from yesterday, guys. I have made edits to it as well, if anybody didn't see yesterday's live stream. Trump, who is expected to present a plan on ending the war, wants Arab and Muslim countries to agree to sell military forces to Gaza to enable Israel's withdrawal and to secure funding for transaction and rebuilding programs, according to a US-based media outlet Axios. The Emory States news agency WAM said on Wednesday that the meeting had been focused on ending the ongoing war in Gaza and reaching a permanent ceasefire, adding that the release of captives and addressing the worsening humanitarian crisis were discussed as priorities. Israel reportedly had no involvement in the plans under discussion, but Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been made aware of the details. He's believed to envision some future involvement by the Palestinian authorities, something Israel has repeatedly said will not tolerate. Well, unfortunately, someone has to take control of Gaza, and if it's not going to be Hamas, it's got to be something, you know. The plan sees no role for Hamas, which US and Israel have demanded must be disarmed and eliminated. Leaders met on the margins of the summit, dominated by a global outcry against Israel's war on Gaza, with diplomatic reconciliation of the Palestinian state and demands that the two-year war that has killed at least 65,000 people be brought to a swift end. The summit saw the US, Israel's armed chief supplier, which has traditionally acted as its diplomat, shielded at the UN and beyond, appear increasingly isolated in its condemnation of other nations and endorsement of the Palestinian statehood, and offered little indication that it might apply pressure on Tel Aviv to stop the war. Trump indicated in his marathon speech to the Assembly that the endorsement by France, Britain, Canada, Australia and Portugal and others served to encourage continued conflict by giving Hamas reward for those horrible atrocities, calling for immediate end to the war without acknowledging the gravity of the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Yeah, because Trump, again, he's not interested in the humanity part of things. He just wants the war to end, and then he can brag about how he did it, how he ended the war. That is what it's looking for more than anything, I would say. There. Going to be chucking big metal balls later. What could go wrong? Says Indie Duck Melly. What? Okay. Drink or fall before training will either improve my aim or send a teammate to hospital. Oh dear. Either I never know. It's Paralympic sports called Boccia. They say I'm good, but that's they say I'm good, but that's sober. Well, I hope you have fun on that. But on this, obviously, I don't have much hope in it. I mean, it sounds good on paper, but again, turning it into action is another thing, guys. In Ukraine, Slokovich, some are abandoning long-held sympathies for Russia. Locals who sided with pro-Russia separatists become ideologically closer to Ukraine as the war rages on. Where pro-Russian rebels seized the southeastern Ukrainian town of Sloskis 11 years ago, Ruska said he and their neighbours treated them well. On the 12th of April 2014, hundreds of armed men, led by former Russian intelligence officers, Igor Konstantin, snuck into Slokovich, making it the first Ukrainian town to be taken over by Moscow-backed separatists. They fought the police. Threw a Russian flag over the town hall, built barricades and roadblocks, and handed out firearms and grenade launchers to jubilant local men who wanted Moscow to annex their region of Donbass. Russia had just annexed Crimea during a chaotic interim that followed the removal of the pro-Russian president and Donbass native Viktor after months of long popular uprising in Kiev. Under Yakovich, Donbass had lots of privileges, lots of perks. Rizka, a 70-year-old retired sales manager, while holding a bike outside a grocery store. But 10 weeks of separatist occupation and 11 years of war later, her views and many of those have undergone a U-turn. Since Russia's full-scale invasion, which began in 2022, hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian servicemen have been killed as millions of civilians have suffered displacement and been rendered homeless and jobless amid an economic nosedive and collapsing prices. I would have shot the rebels myself, Chazia says, clutching a fist. Moscow withheld her last name and personal details because she feared reprisal from those who sympathise with and aid Moscow. Her son is fighting on the front lines that lie a mere 15 kilometres east of Slokovich. Her daughter helped the war efforts from western Ukraine. Her teenage granddaughter lives with her and studies from home online because of the danger posed by daily shelling and drone attacks. She dreams of entering a university in Kiev. Sokovich, whose real name means the state of Slavs, and ethno-religious groups are group Ukrainians and Russia belong to, was founded almost 4 centuries ago as a frontier fortress. It evolved into an industrial town with a population of 50,000 employed at factories, bayonet resources, salt and potassium mines, and chemical workshops. They were there. Even plans to mine Shell natural gas, but a joint project with Shell was mothballed in 2014. Since Sokovich was retaken by Ukrainian forces in 2014, it's yet again become a military stronghold, part of a fortress belt in the Donbass that has ruined Moscow's dream of a sweeping takeover of the region on its border. It was a key target of Russia's largely failed offensive this summer. Its streets, shops and cafes are filled with burly sterned men who often sports tattoos with Ukraine's national symbols and drive around in four-wheeled jeeps under the colour of their uniforms. The sale of alcohol is limited, but the town is studded with gyms and shops selling military gear, and our biggest advertisements will buy drones in any condition, signal the operation of the workshop that repairs or assembles unmanned aircraft. Where are the intelligence service? Why can't they arrest the spotters? Vasky said, an 82-year-old retired teacher. At least 3 spies have been arrested this year alone, according to intelligence service and prosecutors. Estimated that among those peers, there 40% are pro-Russian. Let's talk about the Soviet era youth awaiting the arrival of Russian troops. They sit around drinking beer, asking when are they coming, when are they coming. He told Al Jazeera while leaning on worn-out wooden crane. They should be gathered and reported. Yeah, there's still people. There's Ukrainians. Obviously, are still very conflicted. Very interesting story. Yeah, there are still Ukrainians who are very conflicted. I mean, there are obviously some parts where they're happy that they've been annexed by Russia, but it's different in many places. But I think the majority of the population are fed up, whatever side of the spectrum they're on. They're fed up of this war and they want it to end. But, they want to get on with their lives, but they can't do it at the moment. Trump's H-1B visa fee hike, which countries could benefit. The major shift, Trump says Ukraine can win back all territory from Russia. Why is he saying this? Previously said both Kiev and Moscow would have to seize land and end Europe's deadliest war since World War II. His position has changed. Again, he said he believes Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, can win back all the territory Russia has captured since its invasion more than 3 years ago, and dramatic shift in his policy on Ukraine. With time, patience and financial support of Europe, and in particular NATO and the regional borders from where this war started, is very much an option, Trump said in the post on Truth social platform after meeting on Tuesday with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. I'm going to hazard as a guess, guys, that I put a tenor on it, guys, that he will change his position once again on this. I'm just gonna say that, guys. I'm just gonna put it out there that he might change his position again. They met on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly, previously said both Kiev and Moscow would have to seize land to end the war. Zelensky and the European allies have been opposed to Trump's suggestion of territorial compromise to achieve peace. In the post, Trump criticised Russia's prosecution of the conflict, saying it's been fighting aimlessly in a war that a real military power would have won in less than a week. Real military power, right? Trump also dismissed Russia as a paper tiger, saying Vladimir Putin and Russia are in big economic trouble, as this is the time for Ukraine to act. Well, at the moment, it's a case of Ukraine don't have the firepower to push Russia back. At the moment, it's just them holding the lines. And we literally saw that. We literally saw that from the deep state map yesterday, those who watched the live stream. So Russia has captured nearly 20% of Ukraine since it invaded. Moscow annexed Ukraine's Crimean Peninsula in 2014, considers it to be outside the scope of its invasion. The US President said it previously shown lukewarm support for Zelensky, and whom he had a televised Oval Office bust-up in February, during which he told the Ukrainian people you don't have the cards to achieve a good outcome for Russia. But during their meeting on Tuesday, Trump said he had great respect for the fight that Ukraine is putting up, and it's pretty amazing, actually. Zelensky thanked Trump for his personal efforts to stop the war. After the meeting, the Ukrainian president said there was an understanding that Trump was ready to provide security guarantees for Ukraine after the war ends, and added that Trump could be a game changer for Ukraine. Trump administration initially ruled out NATO membership for Kiev and asked European leaders to step up their military support for Ukraine. All of us, we understand that President Trump is ready to give Ukraine security guarantees after this war finished, Zelensky told reporters. Yeah, but he could be lying as well. He could be lying as well, guys. You know, he can change. He can change at a dime. You just can't take anything he says seriously. You know, nearly every civilian would rather there is no war. Most people will just want a quiet life, says person impersonator. Absolutely, absolutely. There. I tried archery as a kid. I enjoyed that. Never followed up. Wanted to, said Ellie. You can still follow it up. You can still follow it up. I thought, you know, obviously it costs money to go to places to do them, but if you wanted to do it, you can. You're destroying your countries. Key moments from UN Trump's speech. What's some of the things here? Trump kicked off his speech with a light heart comment about a non-functional teleprompter, noting he did not mind that it was not working. I don't mind making his speech without teleprompter because the teleprompter is not working, Trump said. Okay. Trump said that the nations were more welcoming of migrants than the US under him were destroying their countries. They're being destroyed. Europe is in trouble. They're being invaded by a force of illegal aliens like nobody's ever seen before. Illegal aliens are pouring into Europe. Oh my God, Donny. Oh my God, the illegal aliens are coming. What could you possibly do? You know what you could do, Donny? You know what you could do? Maybe you should you know what? Maybe if you put more foreign investment into countries of where they come from, maybe there wouldn't be so many illegal aliens coming to Europe and America, you know? Just a suggestion, but you don't want to put your own money into it. Trump then refers to his administration's policy towards migration and asylum seekers. You have to end it now. I can tell you it's really good stuff. Your countries are going to hell. Once we start detaining and deporting everyone who crosses the border and removing illegal aliens from the US, they simply stop coming, he said. 4 months on the road, the number of illegal aliens admitted and entering our country has been zero. Why are they calling them aliens when they're just humans like us? Like, I really don't get that. Why do they keep calling them aliens? According to US Customs Borders Agency, nationwide apprehensions of border crossings dropped from about 660,000 in August 2024 to roughly 8,200 in July 2025. That's a huge drop. This is one of the lowest monthly totals in decades, but it's not close to zero. Trump criticised Washington NATO allies for continuing to buy Russian energy, while urging Russia to step up pressures on Moscow to end its war on Ukraine. China and India are primary funders for the ongoing war by continuing to purchase Russian oil, but exclusively even NATO countries are not cut off much Russian energy and Russian energy products, Trump said. Europe has significantly cut a lot of things from Russia, but there are some countries that are still taking it on board, unfortunately. As Al Jazeera reported in August, after the US doubled its 25% tariff in Indian imports to 50% as punishment for New Delhi continued oil purchasing from Russia, the European Union actually trades even more with Moscow. Yeah, this is why are we not getting more from the Middle East here? Yeah, this is the problem. EU's trade around with Russia now at 67.5 billion euros in 2024 is about a quarter of what it was in 2021 before Russia's full-fledged war in Ukraine began. It was 257.5 billion euros, but this was more than India's total trade with Russia 2024-2025, which was worth $68.7 billion. And Europe have actually increased its imports of Russian LGM by 9% in 2024 compared with the year before. Why? Is my question. My question is why? Meanwhile, the US has also imported a range of chemicals from Russia. Total Russia-US trade in 2024 stood at 5.2 billion, according to US Trade Representative Office. Though the numbers are down significantly from 2021, while their goods stood at 36 billion. Yeah, why are we taking more when we should be taking less from them? I suppose I don't know. I'm assuming if I had to speculate, I would say one of the factors is probably because we're not able to get enough oil from the Middle East, or there's trouble getting it here to Europe from where it is. Obviously, there's the Red Sea, obviously, with the Houthis there. I'm assuming that's one of the reasons. Good morning, Billy Kershaw. Hope you are doing well. So much more adaptive sports in the UK, says Indy Duck here. And you guys are talking about something else. Israel, Syria, edge closer to de-escalation pact, says US envoy. Voice for hopes the deal warns regional risks due to Israel's attempts to fragment there. Israel is close to signing a de-escalation agreement with Syria after the latter president signaled its state's country was scared of its former relentless attacks since the overthrow of Bashar al-Assad rule last year. U.S. Special Envoy Syria Tom Barrack said on Tuesday that the agreement would see Israel stopping its attacks on its neighbour, while Syria will agree not to move any machinery or heavy equipment near the Israeli border. Barrack said that both sides were negotiating in good faith on the agreement, which has been slated for completion this week. It has been slowed down by the Rosh Hashanah holiday, the Jewish year this week. The agreement would serve as a first step towards an eventual security deal, he said. Speaking shortly before Barrack, Syrian President al-Sharia, whose forces toppled long-time autocrat ruler Assad back in December, voiced hope for security deal, pointing out that the country had not created problems with Israel. We are scared of Israel, not the other way around, he told the event at Middle East Institute in New York. We are multiple risks from Israel stalling on negotiations and insisting on violating our invasion and incursion into our territory, he said. Jordan is under pressure. Any talks of partial nation Syria will hurt Iraq, will hurt Turkey, and it will take us back to square one, he added. He will become the first Syrian leader to address the UN National Assembly in 6 decades today. He's going to be addressing them today. First Syrian leader in decades. In 6 decades. 60 years. Israel and Syria have been in the Middle East adversaries for decades, and the mission between the pair heightened during the 1967's Arab-Israeli War and Israel's occupations of the Syrian Golan Heights. Yeah. Let's hope a deal gets secured. I really do sincerely mean that, for the benefit of Israeli and Syrian people, for the innocent people more than anything. Let's hope so. I mean, Syria's still got a lot of work to do. Jimmy Kimmel returns to ABC with emotional monologue. I watched the full thing this morning. It was very good. I do recommend listening to it if you haven't already. I think some of the there are times where he actually he was very emotional about one or two things as well. But I thought it was very powerful from him. What is this? When was this? 29 minutes ago. Oh no, it's the 2nd of September. That's very, very old. That story. Anything else here on Al Jazeera that's worth covering? Let's have a quick nose. Plenty of other stories to cover. Western bids to recognise Palestinian states put Israel's first. Africa's future runs on water, so treat it as an essential infrastructure. The problem with Bernie Sanders is a genocide admissions in the opinion piece there. South Korea's first ex-lady, Kim Jong-il, in court on corruption charges. Yeah, so looks like we'll have to leave. I think that's all from Al Jazeera that we got there. Quite a lot there. Trip, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well, and anybody else looking in the chats. Right, let us go to the New York Times here. Let's see what they are saying here. Should they shoot down Russian aircraft? Yes, so Donald Trump was asked whether if Russian aircraft entered NATO countries, should they shoot them down, and Trump said yes. I think I mentioned that somewhere yesterday as well. I can't open any articles from the New York Times, so we can only look at the headlines and the pieces they've got here on their front page of their website here from the New York Times, just as a reference, guys. In a sudden shift, Trump says Ukraine can win the war with Russia. Your countries are going to hell. We've heard that already. Escalator malfunction at the UN sets off conspiracy theories. Yeah, the escalator. One of the escalators that Donald Trump got on when he arrived at the UN stopped immediately as soon as he stepped on it, which is very, very weird. Jimmy Kimmel, obviously he's going to be speaking about what happened to him. America is not a safe place to work. Koreans describe a Georgia raid. Some workers arrested at the Hyundai LG factory said although they had entered the US under murky circumstances, they'd always planned to return home. Despite Trump's pressures on Justice Department, some safeguards are beyond his reach. We are not going to solve autism, and that's okay. Civility is a fantasy. Trump's pick to replace ousted US attorney lacks procedural experience. Jamaican citizen deported to Africa prison by US returns home. Yeah, why did you send a Jamaican citizen to Africa? What's that all about? Claudia Cullen, actress who was Italy's girlfriend, dies 87. Trump is building the blue scare. Jimmy Kimmel makes tearful return. Like I do say, do check that video out. Not now. After this live stream, guys. Not now. Ditch the dating app. Sit at the bar. Trump's picked to replace there. US rankings. The Broadway musical is in trouble. A lot of things are in trouble. I'm not surprised by that headline. The curious incident of the dog in the night watch. What else has it got? On COVID and autism, Trump strays from the science. Yep, because obviously, you know, God is the answer to everything in his mind. FDA's approval of drug for autism upends review process. If you want to know my main thoughts on it, I mean, if you want my main thoughts on it, on the whole paracetamol and linked to autism and whatnot, I've kind of said about it yesterday, but I'll just say it short for those who weren't there yesterday. Trump's a madman. He's out of his goddamn mind, and just don't listen to him. It's just don't listen to him. He did not fall down the escalator. What happened was, Duck, is that he got on the escalator and the escalator stopped moving. It just stopped moving as soon as he got on it. Just like that. Like, Melania Trump was in front of her, got in front, and it moved. It was moving there. As soon as he stepped on it, it stopped moving. And then he turned and looked at everyone, and then he just started walking up the escalator. It just literally stopped as soon as he got on. So, no, he didn't fall off, I'm afraid. Hubbardine was paid $150,000 as experts witness at Tyrell's lawsuit. Tariff uncertainty is unexpected to slow economic growth this year. Zachary died after climbing on top of a subway train. Who is to blame? Well, why did he climb on top of the subway train? Doesn't understand what had motivated the 15-year-old son to subway surf. Then she found his phone. Well, I can't open up the story, so I don't know. Typhoon Rashida floods Hong Kong and hurdles towards southern China. 1 million residents of Gangwon province in China were evacuated. The storm left 15 people dead in Taiwan. My God. And you can see there she's clutching there. The fact you actually got a shot out there is quite incredible, considering how dangerous that is. Man is found guilty of trying to assassinate Trump in Florida. What's this? I don't know what this story is here. Stuck in traffic, Macron calls Trump about his motorcade. Yes, this. So if you guys didn't hear this story yesterday, so President Macron, he got stuck in traffic on the way to the UN General Assembly, and the police were basically, and he spoke to the police, and they said he had to wait because they had to let Donald Trump in. They had to let Donald Trump through first. So he literally called the president while he was standing on the side of the street, President Macron. I'm not joking. It was on video as well. There's on video. If you can look it up, guys. It's on video. It's quite funny. It's quite funny in a way as well. Typical New York traffic. And Macron gets caught in it. And he's like, yeah, I'm being held up because they're letting you through. Oh, dear. Aviators heading for Gaza under drone attack. Some flights are delayed at London Stansted Airport after a small fire. 3 West African nations to leave International Criminal Court. Sports, not interested personally. 15 years into the boom, Iceland has had enough of its mass tourism. Asks if it's had enough. A volcanic eruption in 2010 puts Iceland's nation on million travellers, but is the country's culture now at risk? No! I mean, I went to Iceland a few years ago. Like, it wasn't that bad. I had a great time. Listen, I sincerely mean this. Iceland is a great country with great people. Don't feel discouraged just because they have a volcanic eruption. Like, it happens, you know, in certain parts of the world. Like, it is a great country to visit. I do recommend it. But I do recommend going in the summertime when there's daylight. What else is there? Anything else here interesting? Not really there. But yeah, I went to Iceland. I really enjoyed it. I kind of wish we could have done more. But we did a lot. But there is a lot of places we didn't go to because we were only there for about a week, over a week. So, but yeah, Iceland is a great country. Wonderful people as well, like I said. Just a reminder, guys, if you want to support me as well, if you can, hit that like button, because there's 17 wonderful people in the chat right now. So if you haven't hit the like button, please do. Please share across social media and subscribe as well. I'd like to get to 2,500 subscribers. Unfortunately, my subscriber count has been staying around the same number for the past 5 days. So if anyone is new and they like the content, please consider subscribing. And if you want to go one step further and finally support me, you can leave a super chat to help me achieve my super chat goal for today. We haven't been able to do it yesterday or Monday, but if anyone can, it'd be greatly appreciated. Or become a YouTube member. That would also be greatly appreciated. So thank you guys just for listening. Europe is being ruined by migration, Trump says in UN speech. Yeah, we know about that already. Russia's disinfo on Moldova, bot networks, church spin, and vote buying. I've talked a bit about Moldova yesterday on the live stream, because I covered it in the story yesterday. I will say this, obviously, like, I think it's the end of this week. This weekend coming up is when they got their parliamentary election coming up. It's a very, very big moment for the country of whether they are going to go towards pro-EU or they're going to go pro-Russia. That really is a knife edge. And Russia are doing absolutely everything and anything in they can to steer it towards pro-Russia. Targeted by drones and explosions, the Gaza aid flotilla. Espionage or hobby, German authorities to get tough on drones. Statue of Trump and Epstein appears in Washington. What is this? Who made this? Who made this? Who made this statues? Trump and Epstein. Who made this? Statue titled Best Friends Forever was made by an anonymous creator and is expected to remain on the grounds at the National Mall until Sunday night. A statue of US President Donald Trump and late convicted sector Jeffrey Epstein holding hands has appeared on the National Mall in Washington. There it is. The pop-up statue titled Best Friends Forever will remain on the mall grounds. I thought he was best friends with Peter Mandelson. Oh, I guess he's not. Will remain on the grounds until Sunday evening under permitted granted by the National Park Service. We celebrate the long-lasting bond between President Donald J. Trump and his closest friend Jeffrey Epstein. A plaque at the bottom of the installation reads, "The creator of the statue is unknown, but the artwork is the latest in a series of anonymous installations that have been critical of US President in Washington, including a statue titled Dictator Approved, featuring a golden thumbs up crushing the Statue of Liberty crown. In response to the statue, White House spokeswoman Abigail Jackson said that liberals are free to waste their money however they see fit." But it's not the news that Epstein knows Donald Trump, because Donald Trump kicked Epstein out of his club for being a creep, Jackson has said. US President said he recently cut ties with a disgraced financier because he stole young women, including Virginia grandfather. Yeah, we know about all that other story. I'm surprised that Donald Trump hasn't demanded it be removed, you know. I'm very surprised he hasn't called for it. I wonder if someone's going to dare ask him the question as well. Jimmy Kimmel returns, De Niro cameo, and Disney decides to up its prices. Yeah, right. At the same time, at the whole cancel Disney Plus going on, Disney are announcing they're raising their prices as well. Ending Russian energy ties is a political choice, says Latvian president. European countries where they spend the most time online. Any other stories? Let's have a quick look in Europe. Commission IT glitch, false second delay to EU deforestation rules. Charlie Kirk and Budapest Pride among EU's Sakharov Prize finalists. What? Like, I generally like what? Like, Charlie Kirk is not somebody that is something that people really know too well here in Europe and the UK. But right, let's have a look at the Associated Press, you guys. How long have we got? We still got 20 minutes. We've got plenty still to look at. That is good. There's been a couple of times where people have said, "Did you feel that in this morning?" And I've been like, "Huh?" Says Mucky Van Eric there. I was in New Zealand for 10 months. South Auckland, says Rosemary. Oh, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm 63. I only felt one earthquake in the UK all these years, says Person Impersonator. Yep, and we'll get a lot more once Nigel Farage starts fracking in the UK. I hope you're looking forward to more earthquakes then. I'm getting Morecambe and Wales vibes, as Peter M as well. Right, let's move on. The Associated Press here. Trump says Ukraine can win the war. Yep, we've heard that already. AI cloning of Laura Croft's voice has Tomb Raider fans and actors up in arms. What? Because of... Okay. Is it worth looking at? Go on then. What is this? What is it called? Lifelong fan, was on Telehooks on update. Popular video game went online. But this excitement quickly turned to games. Is after too many fans picked up something and missed the French language of voice of Lara Croft. Sound robotic life is even. My voice belongs to me. You have no right to do that. It's absolutely scandalous. It was artificial intelligence. Ah. They weren't told it was an artificial intelligence voice. Oh, okay. Gabriels and Carlos came to the same conclusion. A machine had cloned her voice and replaced her. Ooh. So that the actor who played the voice actor in the character in the video game, I'm assuming, in the video game, basically instead of Kip using her voice, they decided no, we're just going to use an AI voice and just clone her voice. Wow, that's pretty audacious. That's see what I meant by AI going to be replacing people. That's what they want to do, guys. Doomsday's prediction about the Rapture is spreading on TikTok. People need to stop believing that. Night bacteria cases are increasing in the US. Decades after Endurance false contradiction, Green Atlantic women still suffer from the trauma. I did cover that a while ago, but yeah, unfortunately, that's a story that's still happening, I'm afraid. Emotional Jimmy Kimmel says at the late night return, he never intended to make light of Charlie Kirk's killing. No, he never. No, if you read what he says, he never made fun of Charlie Kirk in any way, shape, or form. It's very important. Context matters, but that's not what the right says. Black church leader rejects Charlie Kirk's and Maradona and points to his race rhetoric. A country swears around late night TV. Here's what a new poll shows about who still watches. And activists for Tennessee to break the Gaza blockade. In the aftermath of Israeli strikes, Iranian missile sites are being rebuilt, but without key component. Trump administration rehires hundreds of federal employees laid off by Doge. What a surprise. That didn't work out, did you, Elon? Trump's misleading comments on autism validates the MAHA movement and reveals its political biases. Veterans who lack citizenship fear being swept up in Trump's deportation. Veterans who fought for the United States of America, who might be lacking citizenship, could end up being defaulted, guys. Yeah, because Trump really cares about his veterans. Cares really a lot about the veterans, guys. Democrat Adelia Gavilla wins special election for Southern Arizona congressional seat. Very good. South Korea moves closer to legalizing tattoo artistry. Jimmy Kimmel. What other stories they've got here? Stopped on the street by NYC police. France Macron's calls Trump. Yep, that's the story there. Have you got a picture of it, actually? Have you got a picture of him? Have you guys got a picture of him on the street? Or you don't have the actual picture? 1 second, guys. Let me see if I can. Oh, there you go. Yep, there it is. So just there's Macron. Obviously, he's stuck in traffic. This was him yesterday. Obviously, stuck in traffic, asking the police to be able to get to the UN assembly. Remember, this is the French president, okay? And obviously, it's quite ridiculous. It's the French president. Oh dear. It is a bit funny. It is a bit funny. I'm just wanting to share a bit of that, guys. Yeah. What else is there? Al Gore satellite and AI systems now tracking sources of deadly scoop pollution. Octopus fined $66 million for a polling conduct in sale to telecom customers in Australia. Ooh, that's quite a big fine. China gives up developing countries treatment in a boost WTO in the face of Trump's tariffs. A Bangkok road collapse created a sinkhole disrupting traffic and prompting evacuations in Bangkok. A mother stranded in Gaza City says she and her daughter are just waiting to die. I don't know, it's terrible, guys. Scientists say they have solved the mystery of what's killed more than 5 billion sea stars. Have they? Genuinely curious. What is it? Scientists say they have at last solved the mystery of what killed more than 5 billion sea stars off the Pacific coast of North America in a decade-long epidemic. Known as starfish, that typically have 5 arms, and some species saw up to 24 arms in a range of colours, from orange and tableaus of orange, purple, brown, and green. Yeah, they're absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, some of them look really, really beautiful. Starting in 2023, mysterious sea star wasting disease sparked a mass die-off from Mexico to Alaska. The epidemic devastated more than 20 species and continues today. A worst-hit species called the sunflower sea star, which lost around 90% of its population in the outbreak in the first 5 years. That's terrible. It's really quite gruesome. Healthy sea stars have puffered arms sticking out, but the wasting, the disease causing the grow lessens, and then the arms actually fall off. Culprit bacteria is also found infected shellfish, according to a study published by Monday by the journal Nature Ecological and Evolution. The findings solve a long-standing question about the very serious conditions of the ocean, said Rebecca Vela-Fonda, marine biologist, who was not involved in the study. It took more than a decade of research to identify the cause of the disease, which many false leads and twists and turns along the way. Early research hinted the cause might be a virus, but it turned out to be a adenovirus that scientists initially focused on was actually a normal resident inside the healthy sea stars and not associated with the disease. Other efforts missed the real killer because researchers studied tissue samples of dead sea stars no longer containing the bodily fluids of surrounding the organs. Late studies indicate the detailed analysis of the fluid called columine fluid, where the bacteria microphotia was found. It's incredibly difficult to trace the source of so many environmental diseases, especially underwater. Yep. Another person who was not involved in the research. Now the scientists say the cause they have a better shot of intervening to help sea stars. President said scientists could potentially now test what the remaining sea stars are still healthy and consider whether to relocate them, breed them in captivity, or later transplant them to areas where they've lost almost all the sunflower sea stars. Scientists may also test some populations have a natural immunity if research like Publix can help immune to the disease. Such recovery work is not only important for sea stars, but the entire specific ecosystem, because healthy starships gobble up excess sea urchins, researchers say. Yeah, of course. Well, at least we know they know what the cause is, but let's hope they do find they can reverse the devastation. Yeah, there's Donald Trump. That's him realizing that the escalator stopped moving as soon as he got on, and then he had to walk up himself. But he did not trip over, guys, sadly. Trump cancels White House meeting with Schumer and Jeffrey despite a risk of government shutdown. Trump tells you in his speech it's up to them. Let's leave the Associated Press for now. Just have a quick look at what you guys are saying in the chat. Tucker deliveries was late, says Ellie. I have poor balance when I shouldn't hop. I hop from a wheelchair when I get it back in the seat of the car and get it from the front, but it is not really safe, says Von Eric. Guys, talk about something else. Sorry, I've not been keeping too much up with some of your other commentaries. Want to go back to accessibility, but the earthquake stopped me, says Indie Duck. Just trying to read the chat. You guys are really talking about something else there. I have PTSD from earthquakes. I woke up during at 7.81 with my wardrobe hanging over my bed, says Indie Duck. Oh my god. And Von Nick said, I've lived in New Zealand for 28 years from birth. I do not miss the earthquakes and never felt one in the 17 years I lived here, even though there has allegedly been some in Cardiff, probably too small. If you go in winter, you have to wake up at stupid o'clock to see the northern lights. Can't go to Iceland. I'm not a mum, says Ellie. Not that Iceland, Ellie. Not that Iceland. Right, got about 10 minutes left. We'll see if we can run through a couple more, guys. Hope you're finding some of this information helpful and useful to you. Some of these stories. Again, do leave a like, share down, and comments down below, all that stuff, because it really does help. Sinkhole in Bangkok, we just saw that. Farmers and indigenous groups clashes with police in Ecuador over diesel subsidies. Citizens of Alliance at Seoul State welcome withdrawal from International Criminal Court. WHO report finds uncontrolled hypertension puts over a billion people at risk. Trump slams the UN. Yep, we saw that already. Migrant crossings surge south of Crete amid a stricter Greece policy. Amnesty International demands a release of 36 opposition supporters from Cameroon. Yep, Cameroon obviously not democratic right now from that. President of DRC's National Assembly steps down amid calls for him to resign. US threatens visa ban for corrupt Nigerian officials. WHO report finds uncontrolled hypertension that puts over 1 billion people. 1 billion people, guys. That's horrible. Sinkhole. That's a sinkhole in Bangkok. That is a very big sinkhole. Oh, my God. Have you got a screenshot? Oh, my days. Yep. That is quite a hole. Oh my God. That is quite a hole. Whew. Yeah, let's hope nobody actually suffered as a result of that. Fell down it or died as a result. At least I don't think so. I don't think so there. I don't think there's anything else unless pointing out. Not really here, guys. Not really too much else there. Let's have a look at where is I have to go from you then. Let's have a quick look at CNN. Nearly 2 million evacuated. Typhoon Ruska slams in southern China. Prominent Egyptian activist Alia Adu released after years in jail following presidential pardon. New Zealand woman convicted of murder of her 2 children and leaving their bodies in suitcases. Oh my God. Why would you do such a thing? Oh my God. Oh my God. That's too much. With US backing that defiant Netanyahu vows to respond to countries recognising Palestinian state. Travel disruption for thousands after mystery drone closer to Scandinavia business airports. France leads a number of nations recognising Palestinian state. Some of these stories are quite old, actually. Trump says Cuba has virtually no autism. That's thanks to Cuban doctors. What? Trump says that Cuba has virtually no autism. That's thanks to Cuban doctors. Despite what you may have heard recently, and contrary to what US President Donald Trump says, there is autism in Cuba. For years, the island state-run medical system operates clients to treat Cubans with autism and carry out campaigns to raise awareness of the neurological developmental disorder. Cuban often specialized autism therapy, such as swimming with dolphins for foreigners seeking treatment who can pay in badly needed hard currency. But even though information about how Cuba's healthcare system treats autism is available to anyone savvy enough to write Cuba and autism into Google, Trump on Monday made a bizarre and false claim that the island's poverty has sparred Cubans from the condition. Yeah, I think we're going to leave that there. That just says everything you need to say about that man. Absolutely insane. Sinkholes are terrifying, and why you do a mine ground search before buying a home. Very scary. It's very scary indeed. And the thing is, you don't honestly know where it can happen. It can happen anywhere, to be fair. So have a quick look at CNA. This is Central News Asia. Sometimes I use them for short videos in case people are curious. South Korea's first ex-lady, Kim Jong, goes on trial for corruption charges. Indonesia offers 20,000 troops for post-war Gaza, heartened by the wave of reconciliation of Palestinian statehood. Yeah, I think I mentioned that yesterday, actually, that Indonesia will be willing to send their own troops. Bear in mind that the country is not in a very good place right now as well. People tend to forget that. Japan's PM says Palestine state recognition when, not if. So they will do at some point, they've said, but they haven't said when. Vietnam, Prime Minister seeks new trade deal to counter US tariffs there. Massive sinkhole begins, opens up. We talked about that already. Hot demand shrinking harvest. Thai coffee faces boom and doom paradox there. Indonesia's US $1 billion economic stimulus, the smallest package in 2025, but will it pack the biggest punch? Can Malaysia stop its school bullying scourge before it's too late? What other stories I've got here? Some other stories I'm not too familiar with. Thousands displaced as Pakistan faces the worst flooding in decades. Enhanced internship built for the environment sector in Singapore there. Thailand's mega maize farm, the cost of feeding the world's appetite for meat, in a video there. School shuts, flights access, typhoon Rascal nears Hong Kong, southern China. China to stop seeking WTO benefits ties to its status as developing country. Indonesia, you can go back feeling great. Volunteer tourism takes off across Southeast Asia. And that's about it for stories there from the CNA, from Central News Asia. I've still got another website I can open after this if need be. We don't have a lot of time left here, but let's have a look at NBC News. Jimmy Kimmel seeks to soothe tensions and takes aim at Trump and his return. Democratic lawmakers open probe in the TV station owners pulling at Kimmel's show. Trump's reversal was dismissed by the Kremlin. Agree cautiously in Ukraine. Famous for losing treads to charges that might be trusted as a title contender. Ruling bans Florida retirees from leading Saudi Arabia until 2026 over critical social media posts. The UN explains why the escalator stopped as soon as Trump stepped on it, because it was a sign of God. That's why. Extremists are using Discord to radicalize American youth, officials warn this year. There's no radicalization taking place on my Discord server, just for reference. Please don't do anything to my Discord community. Got 3 minutes left, guys. If anyone wants to leave any super chats to support me, guaranteed to get your comment read out. Be greatly appreciated if you can. Be very, very appreciated. Very, very helpful indeed. Not had a very good week so far, I'm afraid. Private health insurers use AI to approve or deny care. Soon Medicaid will too. Death rates rose in hospital ERs after private equity firms took over study finds. This is in America. Private health insurers use artificial intelligence to approve or deny care. Soon Medicaid will too. A pilot program at testing the use of artificial intelligence in Medicaid has providers, politicians, and researchers asking questions. Oh my days. Death rates arose in the hospital after PR equity firm there. At least 12 dead there. Video at the moment, Roman waves crash through doors in a Hong Kong hotel. Why have you got this on? Turn this off. This is very distressing. My heart goes out to people right now in Hong Kong who are going through that. I really mean that. Jimmy Kimmel, Charlie Cook professor watch re-HC speech on campus. Amazon just recalled 500,000 products of something. That's not good for them. The FDA warning this cookware could leaching lead to your food. Okay. Kamala Harris commentary on Democrats jumpstart the 2028 presidential contest. I told you she's not going away. Don't be surprised if she runs, guys. Don't be surprised. I've said it. I'm going to keep saying it. Like, she's not doing anything. She's waiting for her moment. I swear. I don't trust her whatsoever. Tom typically Johnson wins constant race. After Trump's claim about assassination, doctors try to reassure pregnant patients they need to. Camp Mystic plans to reopen in Texas next summer, a year after 27 were killed in floods. Rolling Bands, Florida retiree. I think we saw that elsewhere. Any other stories here? Doesn't look like it here. Yeah, there. Oh, there we go. That's a better picture of the sinkhole. You can see the sinkhole quite clearly there. My God, like whoever owns that vehicle there? How lucky are you to know that your vehicle is going to survive? Like, how lucky are you? Like, it's just insane there. That's absolutely crazy. I did notice that in the other video we looked at as well. And that's about it here, guys. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, so I'll have to leave. I did have Middle Eastern Eye, but I'm going to have to leave that one there. Oh, Stephen Banker, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. No, I really appreciate rigging it, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate your support, Stephen. Thank you so much for that super chat. That really has made my day. So thank you so much. I've got a lot to do today, so that's been really helpful. So thank you so much for that. super chat. I know some people have said that they're waiting to get paid, which is totally fine. You know, I understand. You know, and I know some people can't support at all because for financial reasons, some people are really struggling out there, and I want to stress that's fine. You know, I've always said to take care of yourselves before you take care of others. You know, and I generally mean that, guys. But obviously, if you can support, great. If you can't, don't feel bad as well. And I really, really mean that. So thank you for that, Stephen. That's really generous of you. So guys, we didn't do watch along last, so there'll be plenty of videos I'm definitely going to be looking for as well. So I want to say thank you guys all for coming along this morning. Thank you, Stephen Banker, for your super chat. Thank you guys for all your comments. If you can, on your way out, please hit that like button, share this across social media, subscribe if you haven't to already. There'll be no Rumble or Patreon content this week, guys. At this point, my throat is still not fully recovered. I don't know when it's going to fully recover. So I am mitigating how much I use it at the moment, guys. So that's why I'm not doing content there for at the moment. So I do apologize for that. I don't know if I'm going to record main videos as well, but I will try to do that today as well because I need to do some for Thursday and Friday. But we'll see, guys. But yep, on your way out, enjoy the rest of your day, whatever you guys are doing. Take care of yourselves as always. And again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.